A large city was living in fear as an S-rank giant wolf threatened their safety. In desperation, the city called upon the Dragon Fang team to eliminate the beast. As the team waited for its arrival, the wolf suddenly attacked from behind, knocking K away. Reacting quickly, Nav, the team leader, ordered Bandana to bind the wolf with a rope. She managed to tie it up, but the wolf's immense strength allowed it to break free, almost instantly. As it pulled on the rope, Bandana was violently slammed into a wall, leaving her injured. Marvelous quickly cast a healing spell on her, allowing her to continue fighting. Determined, Bandana attacked again, this time successfully restraining the wolf. Seeing the opportunity, Nav ignited his sword and delivered a devastating strike, finally slaying the beast. The city erupted in celebration, relieved that their nightmare had ended. After their mission, the Dragon Fang team returned home for a meal. As they ate, Goov threw his food to the ground in frustration. "No one in this village makes decent food," he complained before turning to Kor and demanding, "Make me something fresh." Kor agreed, but Bandana made an ominous remark. "This will be the last time we taste Kor's cooking." Confused, Kor asked what she meant. Nav coldly revealed the truth. Kor was being expelled from the team. Shocked, Kor insisted that he hadn't done anything wrong, but Nav scoffed. "That's exactly the problem. You haven't done anything at all. You can't even defeat a weak monster." Marvelous explained that their team needed to recruit a magician with special abilities, and since every team was limited to 4 members, someone had to go. Bandana added bluntly, "You're a burden." Desperate, Kor begged to stay, but Nav kicked him down and cast him out without mercy. With nowhere to go, Kor left the city and traveled to H-Work in search of employment. Upon entering, he was greeted by an employee who asked if he was looking for work or hiring someone. Kor replied, "I'm looking for a job." The employee asked for his name and age. "I'm Kor, 15 years old," he answered. Curious about his background, the employee asked if he had prior work experience. Kor admitted, "I was part of the Dragon Fang team, but I only did small tasks, and then they expelled me." Surprised, the employee asked, "You were in Dragon Fang, the recently promoted team?" Kor nodded sadly. The employee reassured him, "This actually makes your file look good. Having worked with them will impress people." Next, Kor was tested for hidden talents. The ranking system ranged from A, able to split a stone in half, to G, completely unskilled. Unfortunately, Kor scored a G in everything, proving he was unqualified for adventuring work. This devastated him. Noticing his disappointment, the employee tried to encourage him. "There are other jobs, trading, chemistry, blacksmithing, but these tests take a week." Kor hesitated. "I don't have any money to wait that long." Understanding his situation, the employee asked him to lift a nearby bag of sand. Though drained of mana, Kor managed to lift it with difficulty. The employee smiled. "Not bad. You might be fit for construction work." Relieved to have found an opportunity, Kor agreed. The employee arranged for his first job. At the construction site, Kor met his employer, who assigned him a simple task: making concrete and fixing the fence. He warned Kor that he would return in 3 hours and expected quality work. But when the employer returned, he was stunned. Kor had already repaired most of the walls in a ridiculously short time. "How did you do this?" the employer asked in disbelief. Kor, apologetic, explained, "I ran out of concrete before finishing the rest." The employer, still in shock, questioned how Kor had even reached the upper parts of the wall. "I gathered the concrete and directed it with this stick," Kor answered casually. The employer's expression shifted from amazement to frustration. "Wait, what? That shouldn't be possible." Realizing Kor's abilities were far beyond what was normal, the employer fired him on the spot. "You're working too fast," he explained. "If you keep this up, you'll take away work from the other laborers. Your rank could be SS. You should be working in the kingdom, not here." Despite having only worked for 3 days, Kor was paid generously before being let go. The employer scolded Kor, telling him that he worked too fast, leaving no jobs for the other laborers. "You'll finish all the work alone, leaving nothing for the poor workers who rely on this job," he said. "Your skills are beyond this place. With your speed, you should be working in the kingdom, not here." He handed Kor the rest of his salary, effectively dismissing him. Kor, in shock, thought to himself that his boss had paid him off just to get rid of him. Kor returned to H-Work, where the employee told him, "This job didn't work out for you, but what are we going to do now? You still have 3 days left before the other job tests." Just then, a woman burst into the office, shouting that she was looking for a worker. The employee approached her, asking what she needed. She explained that she required a worker for a mining job, but warned that if nothing valuable was found in the mine, they wouldn't be paid. The employee protested, saying that workers should be compensated for their labor regardless of the outcome. Kor stepped forward, expressing his interest in the job. "I've worked in mines before back in my village," he said. The employee reminded him that payment was uncertain, but Kor was willing to take the risk. The woman examined him and hesitated. "I need a muscular, slightly short worker, not a young guy like you," she remarked. The employee responded, "You'll have to pay 10 silver coins if you want to hire him." The woman agreed, settling for Kor and asking him to follow her. As Kor left, the employee handed Kersha a workload related to him. Kira, upon looking at it, was so shocked by the amount of money that she collapsed to the ground. Another employee rushed over to check on her. When Kyril noticed a stack of heavy bags, she asked, "Who put those sandbags here?" The employee explained, "These aren't regular sandbags. They're used to measure mana levels. They become heavier as a person's mana increases, and they're impossible for ordinary people to lift. Only someone with strength, like a royal court magician, can handle them." To everyone's surprise, Kira effortlessly lifted one. As she did, she thought about Kor and murmured, "Who exactly are you, Kor, to have such strength?" Meanwhile, Kor followed the woman, whose name was Yisha, to the mining site. When they arrived, Kor looked around in confusion. "There's nothing here but a tent," he said. Yisha nodded. "It's big enough for 2 people. Kor smirked. "I can't sleep next to a beautiful woman like you." Yisha's face turned red with anger. "Don't say such weird things," she snapped. She handed him food, and as he ate, he smiled. "No one has cooked for me in a long time." That night, Kor couldn't sleep inside the tent and chose to rest outside. The next morning, Yisha woke up to find her coat neatly repaired. She turned to Kor in surprise. "Did you do this?" "Yes," he replied simply. "When you're ready, let me know." "We need to start working," Yisha said. "We need 10 gold coins by the end of the week." Kor nodded. "Okay, but where are we supposed to dig?" Yisha hesitated. "I don't know exactly. We'll just dig nearby." Kor shook his head. "That's not how mining works. If we dig randomly, we won't find anything." He asked Yisha to follow him, trusting his own experience. After searching for a better spot, Kor began digging and soon unearthed a round stone. He examined it closely before splitting it open, revealing blue gemstones inside. "This is what we're looking for," he said. "These stones can sell for 3 gold coins each." Yisha's eyes widened. "That's already a third of what we need." Kor continued mining, collecting a large number of blue stones. When he was done, Yisha asked, "So, should we sell them now?" "No, we can't do that yet," Kor replied. She frowned. "Why not? You found them by yourself." "It's not about that," Kor explained. "We need to turn them into crystals first." Yisha was stunned. There are only 10 blacksmiths in the kingdom who can refine these into crystals. Without hesitation, Kor transformed the stones into crystals with incredible speed, leaving Yisha in shock. "I thought each one took an hour to make." Kor shook his head. "I don't have that much mana. I can't do it indefinitely." Afterward, Yisha packed her belongings and asked, "Are you sure you're staying here?" "I have a lot to do," Kor responded. "Then I'll come back tomorrow morning after I sell the crystals," Yisha said before leaving. At the guild, Yisha attempted to sell the crystals. A guard asked for documentation proving they were from abroad. When she admitted they were local, he assumed they were made in a workshop. However, when Yisha revealed a necklace, the guard stiffened in fear. You work with the king?" She ignored his reaction and used a teleportation stone to transport herself to the kingdom, where she sought out a buyer. Initially, the merchant told her the crystal was only worth 10 silver coins. But after a closer inspection, the merchant suddenly changed her tune. "Wait, I'll buy it for 10 gold coins." Yisha was baffled. "How is that possible?" The merchant explained, "This crystal contains an immense amount of mana and prevents mana leakage. It's extremely valuable." Yisha then revealed she had 49 more. The merchant's eyes widened. "That's 500 gold coins." However, before finalizing the purchase, the merchant made 2 requests. First, do not sell these crystals to anyone else. Our kingdom strictly controls their trade, and no one will appreciate their true power like we do. Second, tell me, who made these? Yisha hesitated. "I can't tell you." The merchant frowned. "Why not? Whoever crafted these crystals should be serving the kingdom. Are you trying to monopolize them for profit?" "It's not about that," Yisha insisted. "I just can't reveal his identity without his permission." The merchant sighed. "This concerns me because I am a royal court sorceress. A crystal maker like this must be secured for the kingdom's benefit." Yisha crossed her arms. "I don't work for the kingdom anymore. I'm not obligated to follow your orders." The merchant smirked. Yet you have no issue benefiting from your former rank, I see. Let's talk as friends then. Keep the crystal maker away from any city other than ours. Also, inform him that we might offer him a position as the Royal Magic Laboratory Manager. If the kingdom approves, he could even become an honorary count. After receiving payment, Yisha left the guild. She now had 500 gold coins and an offer to make Kor the head of the laboratory. She returned to hall work, where she met Kersha. Both of them had questions for each other. Yisha asked first, "Who is Kor?" Kersha refused to answer. "I can't reveal client secrets." Yisha pulled out the royal necklace and accessed Kor's file. "He was a member of the dragon team," she muttered. Kira added, "He worked in construction, but only for 3 days. However, his pay was unusually high." This intrigued Yisha. Then Kersha dropped another bombshell. "He repaired all the walls by himself and in a ridiculously short time." Yisha nodded. No wonder they fired him. Finally, she instructed Kira to deposit Kor's payment into his account and warned, "Do not share any information about him with anyone." Returning to Kor, Yisha was stunned to find a newly built house. "What is this?" she asked in disbelief. Kor replied casually, "I built it while you were away." Yisha was speechless. "You built a complete house in one night?" Kor simply shrugged. "People used to do this all the time. I don't think it's a big deal." The Dragon Fang team had ventured into the forest on an adventure, but things quickly turned dire when they encountered a massive monster. During the fight, Golov was struck in the head and injured. He cried out to Marvelous, asking her to heal him quickly. She struggled, replying, "I'm trying, but my power isn't what it used to be." As the monster attacked again, Golov barely managed to block its strike. Amid the chaos, the new adventurer in the group asked Golov, "Can you use fire? You told me you could." Bandana, watching the situation unfold, muttered to herself, "I think this party is already done for." Meanwhile, in another part of the world, we moved to Crow's home where he was with Ulia. Crow was stunned to learn that they wanted to appoint him as the manager of the Royal Research Lab and offer him a noble title. Ulia confirmed it was true. Crow asked her how it had come to this, and she explained that the person she had asked to appraise the crystals turned out to be a royal court magician, doing the role more or less as a hobby. Crow was skeptical and asked, "Are you sure about this? Could your friend be tricking you?" Ulia admitted it sounded hard to believe, but asked, "What do you think?" Crow sighed and told her to decline the offer, despite knowing how good it sounded. Deep down, he thought to himself that he couldn't accept a position that would place him above others. Part of him also longed to return to the Dragon Fang team, though he told Ulia that his only focus now was on his current work. Ulia was shocked by his decision. Crow then asked her if selling the crystals had helped pay off her debts. She confirmed that it had, saying she'd sold them at a fair price. She had taken a single gold coin as a broker fee and deposited the rest in his account. Crow told her not to worry about him, but Ulia insisted, knowing she couldn't have kept the money without guilt overwhelming her. She then encouraged him to keep mining, to which Crow replied he had already found a good mineral vein the day before. Ulia was impressed and noted that he hadn't even taken a break. Crow admitted he had rested for only 6 hours, prompting her to recall that he'd also built the house and chopped firewood. Crow, thinking back on his time with the Dragon Fang team, remembered he used to get just 4 hours of sleep. As the one in charge of daily tasks, he was always the last to sleep and the first to rise. He even apologized to Ulia for sleeping too much now. They walked together to the new mining site. Ulia asked if he was sure about the location, as she hadn't noticed anything unusual. Crow pointed to the shape of the mountain terrain and explained that there were deposits underneath, warning not to dig deeper than 50 meters. He then told her he would be digging elsewhere, the site where they'd found crystals the previous day. Ulia let him go. She ended up finding a gemstone called topaz and noted it could fetch 3 gold coins. She thought about asking Crow to convert it into a magic crystal for free, realizing that would fulfill her financial goal. But then she scolded herself, saying she shouldn't take advantage of him again. Wondering what Crow might be doing, she guessed from experience that he was probably building a tunnel. When she arrived, she was stunned by the tunnel's sheer size. "I didn't think it would be this big," she said in awe. Crow emerged and said he was just on his way to find her. Ulia asked if he'd found anything of value, and he replied that he'd only discovered some worthless ore fragments, which he stored in a box. She examined the stones and found them strangely beautiful. Crow told her the ore was called mithyl and said he could extract a lot of it. Ulia was astonished and asked if he knew what it was. In his village, Crow explained they considered it useless and just threw it away. Ulia was stunned. Mithyl was worth more than gold or platinum, and yet he was discarding it. Crow asked, "So it's important. Is it hard to get in your city?" Ulya then asked what ore he was really searching for, and Crow answered, "Oral." She was surprised, saying she didn't believe that ore could even be found in these mountains. Crow insisted it could be found anywhere if you dig deep enough, about 7 kilometers down. Shocked, Ulya asked if he had really dug that far already. He confirmed it, and she said, "Just as I suspected." Then she asked about the shaft. Crow casually explained he had already filled it back in because it was too dangerous to leave open. "You filled in a 7-kilometer shaft in just 8 hours. Ulya said, stunned again, "Nothing can surprise me anymore." She looked to the end of the tunnel and noted that Crow had dug directly toward the mountain. She realized the tunnel could be extremely useful. When Crow asked if he should fill it in, Ulya told him not to. It would be better left open. Later, they traveled to Samila City. Crow mentioned that the tunnel he dug would connect Samila City to Prince Taiyan City. Ulya, seeing an opportunity, allowed merchants to use the tunnel for a small maintenance fee, calculating that it would be enough to cover her taxes. Just then, Bandana arrived and greeted Crow. He was surprised to see her and asked if Golov was with her. She shook her head and said she was no longer part of the Dragon Fang team, that too much had happened. She mentioned that Golov had destroyed a restaurant where they were eating. Curious, she had gone to ask him how the food was in such a modest place. Golov, clearly annoyed, barked that they still had smoked meat that Crow had prepared, so she should go fetch it instead. Bandana explained to Golov that there was no smoked meat left because he had eaten it all. In response, Golov raised his sword and ordered her to fetch Crow to make more. If Crow refused, Golov demanded that Bandana force him to cooperate. Bandana agreed and took his teleportation crystal, promising to handle it herself. On her way, she noticed some guards and figured Golov might get arrested for his recent actions. She also mentioned that Marvelous was probably fortunate to have been summoned by the church, and in her view, the Dragon Fang team was as good as finished. Since she had been kicked out, she didn't want Crow, her current target of observation, getting dragged into any of their mess. When Bandana told Crow she had been expelled from the team, he was shocked. He also said he had no plans to return to Dragon Fang. When she asked why he was so hung up on that team, Crow explained that he respected Golov and felt indebted to him. She then asked if he was currently seeking work, and Crow confirmed he was headed toward a new job. Bandana told him about a struggling artisan workshop that needed help. She said only about 15 artisans held official state licenses, and they needed assistance. Crow doubted his usefulness, but Bandana reassured him that she trusted him, and he should too. He agreed to help and took a map from her before rushing off. Bandana quietly noted how hard it was to become a sage in training. Crow soon arrived at the workshop, which specialized in magical swords. It was led by a licensed master craftsman who was authorized to both develop and distribute them. When he knocked on the door, a girl answered, an elf named Michelle. She introduced herself as the master's assistant and was happy to see help had finally arrived. She brought Crow inside and asked him to clean the kitchen, which she wasn't good at. Then she went to assist the master. Crow changed clothes and thoroughly cleaned the kitchen. Unsure of what to do next, he followed the path Michelle had taken and ended up in a room where he found a girl afflicted by a terrible curse. After examining her, Crow concluded that the curse had engulfed her entire body and said he would prepare food to help her regain strength. Back in the kitchen, Crow made porridge, but the lingering thoughts of the curse made him collapse from mental strain. Meanwhile, Alicia was negotiating the sale of the rare ore Myethil with Mimiko. Mimiko estimated its value at 50,000 gold coins. Alicia wondered what would happen if news about the ore and Crow spread. Mimiko warned that Crow would either be kidnapped or assassinated, shocked at how someone so powerful had managed to stay hidden. Alicia revealed that Crow had been kicked out of Dragon Fang. Mimiko speculated that their leader was likely a wanted man. When asked what Alicia planned for Crow, she said she wanted to help him become a licensed master craftsman and give him a stable purpose. Her plan was to eventually have him hire her as his bodyguard, though she admitted convincing him would be hard since he constantly undervalued himself. Back at the workshop, Crow had just finished cooking. Michelle and Oilia, the actual master craftsman, walked in. Crow apologized for using the kitchen, but Oilia said it was fine and asked what he had made. He explained it was porridge for the cursed girl. Oilia was surprised he had met her and warned him not to talk about her to anyone. He promised to keep the secret. Oilia thanked him for the day's work. paid him and asked him to return the next day. Kuro agreed. After he left, Oilia couldn't believe she had allowed the cursed girl to interact with a stranger. Though she only did it to slow the curse's progress, she knew she had to stay cautious. In the girl's room, Oilia reminded her to keep the curtains closed and offered to fix her clothes. She wanted to test the porridge for safety, but the girl said she trusted the man who made it. The girl revealed that she had spent her life suspicious of everyone, but today she wanted to believe someone. Oilia let her try the food. Suddenly, the girl collapsed in pain. Oilia panicked and reached for an antidote, but the girl stopped her, saying she felt fine. Miraculously, the curse had vanished. Oilia was stunned. Strong curses like this normally took a long time to dissipate. Elsewhere, two people who had cast the curse on the girl, revealed to be Princess Liza, were planning to place another curse on her. One soldier apologized to his superior and promised to carry it out. Back at the workshop, Oilia and Liza went to see Mimiko and Alicia. Oilia introduced herself and explained the gravity of the situation. Liza was the daughter of the king and Princess Frano of the North, making her a symbol of peace between the two lands. Someone had cursed her to reignite conflict between their nations. Alicia realized the curse was politically motivated, and Mimiko embraced the princess, grateful she was safe. Liza confirmed that she had come to find out who had cursed her. Mimiko pledged her full service and asked how the curse had been broken. When Liza said it was thanks to a man named Crow, both Mimiko and Alicia were stunned. Alicia felt shocked when she learned that Kuro was the one who healed the princess. She asked, "What did you do when you left in the middle of the day, Kuro?" Mimiko said that the person who cast this curse on the princess was someone connected to a curse user and capable of manipulating things inside the royal palace. There are only 3 people who can do that. First, Tristan Minif, who is the bishop of the Bolan Church. Second, Senova Restikins, who is the first general of the Queen's reconnaissance forces. And third, Isadora Arkamama, the third wife of His Majesty the King. Oilia said that Tristan could use his followers to manipulate the guardians of Liz's room. Lisa the princess said her father's wife could move freely in the palace, so she could also manipulate things. However, this was not impossible for Sova either. Yolicia said, "No, he has connections with the Thieves Guild, and they are experts in gathering information. They must have some men inside the palace as well." Oilia said it would be hard to identify the guilty one at this time, and she told them they would need to set a trap. She informed them that Lisa had celebrated her 15th birthday and had become an adult just days ago, and tradition required her to leave the palace for a year of training. "That's why we will set up a workshop for artists that won't actually exist, and it will be run by a fake artist teacher, allowing Lisa to train there. Then the criminal will start gathering information about this workshop and the fake artist teacher." Mimiko said that if this teacher existed, they would have gathered information quickly. However, if he didn't exist, there would be nothing to gather. The more they tried, the more they learned about the culprit. Oilia said they needed to achieve certain accomplishments to be recognized as artist teachers. Yelisha said, "I have just the thing for this," and revealed her special crystal. She asked Oilia if it was a magical crystal and asked Yulicia where she got it from. Yulicia answered that Kuro had made it, which surprised both the princess and Oilia. We shift to Kuro, who was in front of Oilia's closed house. Then Michelle came to him, and Kuro asked her why the house was closed. She replied, "After you left yesterday, my teacher went out with the princess, and there's nothing to do today with us." "I'm sorry," Kuro said. "All right, I understand," and left, thinking to himself that he hoped he hadn't done anything wrong. He also said he should go eat. After that, he went to a restaurant, and while enjoying his meal, he overheard a group of adventurers talking about their carrier being injured, and that they had a new mission they shouldn't refuse, and they needed a carrier right away. Kuro approached them and told them he could be their carrier, though he didn't know how to fight at all like the adventurers did. The girl scolded him, but the team leaders smacked her and apologized to Kuro, telling him she was right because they needed a strong carrier since they were hunting iron goblins weighing about 200 kilos, and the carrier needed to be specialized in this. Kuro then said that if this work was suitable for him, he could lift them, and they definitely weighed around 200 kilos. He lifted the first one easily, and then the second one without any trouble. He shook hands with Cans, who said to Kuro, "In truth, we have our own carrier named Babino, but he's sick and will take a week to recover." Kuro introduced himself and thanked them for hiring a regular guy like him, making them laugh a lot. Cans approached Kuro and said, "We depend on you, Kuro." Kuro thought to himself that they were nice, and he needed to work hard so as not to trouble them. They moved to a tunnel where there was a monster, but Kuro got stuck with slime. Sina told him to stab it until he killed it. Kuro attempted to stab the slime but failed and ended up injuring himself. However, Sina came over and got rid of the slime. Kuro thanked Sina, and she told him she knew he was weak in combat, but that was really awful. Danzao told Kuro not to worry about fighting, they would protect him. Kans told Kuro he only needed to carry stuff, and he'd be fine until this job was done, which amazed Kuro with their kind treatment of him. He remembered how his previous team had been, and they were nothing alike. He started to cry, but Sina asked him if he was hurt and couldn't walk. He told her, "No, I'm fine." After that, they entered the tunnel, and Sina told Kuro that she would light the place up using glowing algae. After brightening the area, Kuro looked beside him and asked Sina what that was. She said it was goblin waste. Kuro asked if there were goblins here, and Kans answered, "Of course, but don't worry, we can defeat them easily. But if a large group attacks us, we'll run away immediately." Then they continued walking through the tunnel, and Kuro approached the walls to check for an exit. They encountered a goblin, but Sina threw a knife at it, and Danzao delivered a fatal blow, eliminating it. Kans asked if it had been calling for its friends, and Danzao replied that he heard their voices. They were everywhere, even near the tunnel exit. Sina asked what they should do, and Kuro urged them to find a way out, saying that this was a secret exit. He opened a door in the wall, and when they entered, Sina closed it behind them. Kuro asked her why she did that and reminded her that Danzao and Kans were still outside. She told him she knew, but they needed to escape. Kuro countered that they had to fight with them. Sina snapped back, "You're stupid. You can't even kill a little slime, and you'd hinder them if you went." This surprised Kuro as he realized that Sina wanted to fight much more than he did. Kans told them not to argue, and asked Kuro to protect Sina as well. Ken then asked Danzao if he felt regret. Danzao replied, "Not at all," and turned the question back to Kan. Kan replied, "Never dying to protect my little sister is the greatest honor for me." Danzao said, "Dying would be an honor for you too, and wouldn't bring you shame." Kans responded, "How could I regret it when I'm still your friend?" Kuro thought that they were really kind and loved each other, wanting to protect him, but he couldn't help them. Sina said she knew that her brother and Danza would survive and urged Kuro to move. She lit up the area, but a massive creature, an iron dragon, appeared, filling Sina with deep despair. Now we shift to Yalisha and Lisa. Lisa said, "So this is the loom that Kuro mentioned." Yalisha said, "You should always remember that we're hiding from Kuro that you're a princess." The princess replied that the most important thing was that she was just an ordinary girl in front of Kuro named Lisa, asking Yalisha to also call her Lisa and to drop the formalities. Yalisha agreed that they should do that and told her she could also call her Yuli. They then went to Kuro's room to look for him, and one of Kuro's friends told them that he went to an iron goblin tunnel with his new band Sakura. Lisa asked Yalisha what this is. Yalisha replied that it could be a trap, but if Kuro had really gone to that area, it was a great danger for him since they had completed their training there due to the spread of the iron goblins. She asked Lisa to stay here while she went to search for him. Lisa insisted, "I will stay with you." Yalisha urged her not to be foolish, but Lisa replied, "What about you? How could you think of leaving someone unprotected?" She added that as a member of the royal family, she had learned some magic she could use to defend herself and wouldn't hinder Yalisha's path. Yisha told her, "All right, but promise me you won't stray from my side." And they went on their way. We moved to the tunnel. Yalisha said these glowing algae are new, and Lisa said she sees Kuro's tracks and thinks he walked this way. Ulisha asked Lisa how she could recognize him from his footprints. Then Lisa used her magic to discover more footprints, and Ulisha said, "That's good, it will help you hear his voice and find him right away." Lisa began to move closer to the walls and said that Kuro moved from this direction. When she got to the nearest spot, she told Alicia there are warriors fighting inside. Ulisha approached Lisa and told her to stay here so she wouldn't get hurt. Lisa boosted Ulisha's physical strength, and Alicia moved forward to help Danzao and Kans. She struck the goblins, taking many of them out. We shift to Kuro. Sienna said, "This is impossible. I have to abandon this mission so no one gets killed." She told Kuro she was sorry for pulling him into this job and informed him they couldn't get through because these dragons were here to stop them. She mentioned that her brother and Danzao tried to buy them some time to escape, but they couldn't escape at all, and she started crying. Kuro approached Sienna and told her not to worry, assuring her they would escape. He drew his weapon and said he would take care of the dragons first. He moved in on the dragons, and the first dragon attacked him, but Kuro dodged the strike. He counterattacked, landing some hits that took them all out, which left Sienna very surprised. After finishing off the dragons, Kuro told her he was used to mining iron goblins. Then Alicia came in and asked what happened here. Sienna said he took them out by himself with a single strike from his weapon and noted that he's used to mining. Alicia asked Kuro if he was okay. He replied that he was fine, but asked her to save Danzao and Cans because they were in a tough battle. Alicia reassured him they were okay and alive. He said, "That's very good." Alicia thought to herself, she had heard legends of a man with a G rank and combat skills, but possessing an S rank talent in harvesting with a scythe to defeat a briar dragon. But is that also possible? Lisa appeared and said to Kuro, "You're really impressive." Khan said, "Get us our other party member. It's important, but we haven't heard of a horde of goblins that fled from training." He told Alicia he didn't know how to respond to Beauty. Danzao said, "We owe you so much." Alicia replied, "You don't have to." She told Kuro they would establish a workshop for artists soon, and that she would work there as an adventurer and main character, asking him if he would come to work with her. She told him she heard he did a great job at Oilia's place. Kuro said he was working with Sora now. Cans told Kuro this offer shouldn't be turned down, and he should take it seriously without worrying about them. Alicia said they were starting this workshop, which was very new, and had no workers, and asked him to hire some adventurers. "What do you think about joining us?" Hans asked if that was possible, and Sora's team agreed. Alicia told Kuro that when they returned to the country, he would have to undergo a talent test to find out what his talent was when he started working in the workshop. Kuro told himself he wanted that too. When the technical artist arrives anyway, he said, "Okay." We moved to Mimko's house, and Mimo welcomed Kuro, introducing herself as the one responsible for evaluating his talent. She knew he arrived with a recommendation from Oilia and told him she had seen his magical crystal, but she wanted to see him in person. After that, we shift to the tavern where they are celebrating together. We switch back to Alicia and Mimo, and Alicia asked Mimo, "What about Kuro's talent?" Mimo replied she told him he had to be rank in cleaning and a C rank in everything else. Alicia asked Mimo what the actual results were. Mimo told her that Halo Work is the only one able to measure talents between G rank and S rank, and she informed her his strength was very large, and I couldn't measure it. Mimko said they were lucky since she was the one assessing the talents. If word got out, who knows what would happen. Then the maid cell came to them looking shocked. Mimko approached her and said she was happy because Kuro's talents were SS rank. Alicia said to Crucial that if anyone learned about this, it would be very dangerous. Crisel replied, "I haven't heard anything at all." They went to the new workshop location where they would be working using the express carriage. Liza asked, "Are there any teleportation stones in the city we're going to?" Alicia replied, "There used to be some, but it was a military base on the border of the Demon Lands." Liza said, "Even though the new viceroy hasn't been appointed yet, it's a crucial city that doesn't receive any help from the Alliance." Danzao said, "And we will be the personal party for a new artisan in this crucial city." Can said, "This is more than we deserve." Alicia said the decision was made with full consideration of your abilities. Ken asked Danzao, "What about Baboni?" Danzao told him, "Leave it to me." After that, Senna said to herself, "My brother and Danzao agree instantly." She also thought they assigned us to silence us, but I will protect my brother and Danzao if anything happens to them. Then Cans asked Alicia what this artisan master craftsman is like. Alicia said he is a very honorable man. Then, moving to the city, Crow was surprised by its appearance. Liza asked Crow what's wrong. Crow told her, "I used to work on repairing the walls of this city before, but I was fired after 3 days of work." Then, moving to the workshop locations, Alicia told them, "This is the land that will be your training ground." Can said, "But it's empty land." He asked her, "What are we supposed to do here?" Alicia said, "We'll wait at the inn until the artisan's workshop is finished." Alicia asked Crow, "Can you build this workshop alone?" This surprised the others. Crow said, "I can build a wooden house by myself, but building a workshop for an artisan in 1 day is unreasonable." Can said, "That's right." Senna thought, Crow doing everything by himself is difficult. Danzao said, "Completing this in 1 day is impossible." Crow told them, "I think I can do it in just 3 days." This surprised them. Elisha said to Crow, "Okay, take as much time as you need and build it your way. Even if it takes 3 days, and if you need any materials, don't hesitate to ask." Crow said to her, "You mean these?" He wrote down all the things he needed on a piece of paper and gave it to Ulisha, asking her to bring these materials and telling her that, if she prepared these things, he would be very grateful to her. Ulisha read the materials and told him that she would bring them to him in just 2 days. Senna said to herself, "Does he really need these things?" Then Ulia asked everyone to go to the inn so they wouldn't hinder Crow from building the workshop. She said to Crow, "Make sure to come to the inn for meals and to take a break." Crow said to her, "Okay," and told her that he would come in the morning and at night. Liza said to Crow, "You have to eat well." Crow said to her, "Thank you for your concern." Then moving inside the inn, Alisha gathered them. Sina said, "Are you going to tell them what happened in the cave, right?" Kans asked, "What happened in the poem reading?" Sina said, "Crow defeated the iron dragon alone. He was cutting it like he was used to it, and with just one knife too, and with ease." Sina asked Alicia, "Who is Crow, and who are you too?" Alicia said, "Okay, I'll start with myself." She told them that she was an adventurer working under the royal family. She asked Liza to introduce herself. Liza introduced herself and showed them her royal crest, which proved that she was a princess, which surprised the others. They were about to bow to her, but Liza asked them to sit down and told them that she was hiding her identity for certain reasons. She asked them to treat her as they did before seeing her crest. Sina asked, "Is Crow from the royal family too?" Alicia said, "No, he's not even from the nobility, and we don't know the origin of this boy yet." Sina said, "How don't you know who he is yet?" Alicia said, "We only know that all of Crow's combat abilities are of G rank, and other abilities are of SSS rank." Kan said, "Is SSS rank the rank that people doubt exists?" Alicia told them that Crow was very unaware of his strength and that they had hidden his true rank from him, telling him that he was of B or C rank. And to be honest with you, the new artisan master is actually Crow himself, but this is a secret between us two. Sana said angrily, "Why are you hiding all this from him?" She told them that they should tell Crow everything. Alicia said, "If we told Crow the truth, he wouldn't believe us, and who knows what kind of evil people would plan to misuse Crow's power and exploit it if we announced the truth." Senna said, "You're the ones exploiting him now." Ken asked Senna to calm down. Sina said to her brother, "I don't want to hear any more of this because this is too much." But Kans hugged his sister Sina to calm her down. Danzao asked Ulisha to continue. Liza said, "Crow broke the curse that was cast on the handmade porridge." Ulisha said, "Someone wants to kill Liza, and the reason for building this workshop in this city is to uncover our enemy and identify who it is." Sina asked, "Does Crow know this?" Liza said, "He doesn't know anything. He didn't even know who I was, and when he knew that I was suffering from a curse, he saved me without asking for anything in return." Ulisha said, "Crow is very pure, and the others influence himself a lot. This is what makes him a good boy, so I want to protect this boy." Liza also said that she was asking them not as a princess, but as Liza, their friend, to keep this secret and protect Crow with them. Danzao said, "It is the duty of a knight to obey members of the royal family. But we are adventurers, we don't have any of these obligations, but we are also comrades, and we risk death with Crow, and we are his friends." Kan said, "That's right, we are already friends, and we must protect Crow." Danzao said, "Since I am Crow's friend, I swear on my weapon to protect you both too." Liza thanked them. Sina said to Danzao and her brother, "How can you do this? We've only met him 3 days ago, and we don't know anything about him." Ulisha said, "I understand what you're feeling." Sina said to her, "How can you understand?" She told her not to say anything that meant nothing to her. Ulisha told her, "I understand that because I went through it because I met him only 6 days ago," which surprised the others. Sina said, "So let me think about it," and left. Ken said to Ulia, "Don't worry about Sina, she'll be fine." Then Sina went alone and said to herself, "How is this happening? And Crow must know everything." Then she moved to Crow and was very surprised. Crow came to her and told her that he hadn't finished building the workshop yet. Sina asked Crow, "Did you dig this?" Crow said to her, "Of course, I'm from rank B in mining." Sina said to herself, "Even those with rank B can't do that." Sina told Crow that he was amazing. Crow told her it was common to build a few dozen houses a day in my hometown, so I feel like I'm still slow. Sina asked Crow, "Are you feeling stressed because you're assigned too much work?" He told her, "No one forces me to do anything, and I'm happy to do it." He told her that his old party told him that he was useless and kicked him out. "Now I feel happy because I'm someone who is useful, and I was able to prove this." Sina remembered Ulia's words about Crow and said, "I understand now." Crow asked Sina, "What did you understand?" Senna said, "We are friends now." Moving on to Danzao, he meets with the informant, and she is telling him some information. She told him that she had gathered a lot of information about Baboni, who is known as the Thousand Faces, and that he accepts missions from evil people. Then he sneaks into adventurer parties, and she rebuked him that he is treacherous, and he has destroyed countless parties, and that he accepted the last mission with the intention of destroying Sakura, and he thought he was sent from another party that harbors a grudge against you for taking the job recently. She told him that the rest of the details are in the paper with him. Danzao said, "I understood everything, and I'm indebted to you," and gave her the money. Moving on to the tavern where Baboni is, Baboni wanted to force a girl to stay with him, but the girl left. He said to himself, "I didn't expect Sakura's party of scoundrels to survive, but now I hear that they have been employed in a new workshop related to the third princess, and if I crush them, I will earn a lot of money." Danzao told him, "That's really a good idea to make money." Baboni said, "Of course, and I can find many clients who want to tarnish the achievements of the third princess." But Baboni stopped talking and was surprised when he heard Danzao's voice talking to him. He turned around, astonished. Danzao asked Baboni, "You're drinking a lot to celebrate your recovery, aren't you?" After that, Baboni ran away from the tavern, but as he was running, he was tripped and fell to the ground by a trap set for him by Danzao. Then Danzao approached Baboni and said to him, "You were smart, so you can't be unaware of the huge goblin colony." Baboni said to Danzao, "Forgive me," and told him that they were friends in the same party and that he didn't know anything. But Danzao drew his sword and put it on Bibinoki's neck and said to him, "You were never my friend, and if you approach those I trust now, who are my friends, I will kill you without hesitation." He left him alone without any harm, but the informant was watching them hidden so that no one could see her. She said that she wanted Danzao to finish off his target because he could become an obstacle in the future. Then two people came to Baboni and took him away. The informant said that these two men are from Phantom, the intelligence unit of Mimiko, the royal court sorceress. Then a message came to the informant in the legs of the bird, and it was about Marv. "I feel bad for them, but oh well, since my lord asked me to leave this woman alone, I think I should go now to Crow's hometown." We move on to Kanz and Danzao, who are looking at the new workshop built by Crow. Sina was on the other side telling Ulisha about the existence of a babawomo tree. Ulisha said, "We'll have good kinds of fruit then, but it hasn't fruited yet." After that, Lisa ran into the place and said, "From today, this will be our love spot, me and Crow." Ulisha said, "It's the new workshop." Then Crow came out of the workshop and told them he was sorry he hadn't prepared a welcome for them. Ulisha said, "We weren't ready either." She asked him, "Can we see it from the inside?" He said, "Of course." Then they went inside, and Crow explained the palace entrances and everything in it, which surprised them. Alicia asked Crow, "What is this device?" Crow told her that he had converted the blue sapphire he brought into magic crystals and used them to create a perpetual motion water engine to generate water, which amazed everyone even more. After that, he took them to the bedrooms and told them they were designated for all of them. Lisa lay on the bed and said, "It smells like Crow." Crow said to Lisa that she was exaggerating with her jokes. Alicia said, "It's the smell of the griffin." After that, they moved to the craftsman's room and Crow asked Alicia, "When will we meet the master craftsman?" Alicia said, "It seems he's late. I think he's busy." Alicia asked Crow, "Which is your room?" Crow told her that he was only responsible for the housework, so he would sleep in a small area next to the kitchen, which angered everyone. But Alicia asked him to sleep here in the master craftsman's room until he arrives. Crow strongly refused, and then he told them that he agreed, but he would leave after the master craftsman arrived. Ulisha asked Crow, "Can you put a curse barrier around this palace?" Crow told her that it was difficult to do. Ulisha said to herself, "So he can't do it then. I have to use the spells that protect against curses that Mimiko gave us." She hung up a lot of curse wards, but only Lisa's room remained, and it was the most important room. She moved to hang a ward on it, but Lisa came out of her room suddenly and thought that Crow was outside. She said to him that she was waiting for him a lot. Ulisha asked Lisa, "Why are you waiting for Crow?" Lisa told her, "Because I want him to sneak into my room," which angered Ulisha. Ulisha said to Lisa that this was not the behavior of a princess at all. Lisa told her, "You're shouting. You might wake everyone up." She asked her, "Are you jealous?" Ulisha told her, "What are you saying? Why would I be jealous? She told her that Crow was pure and innocent and told her that she should be ashamed. Lisa said, "Okay, we move on to Crow, who was in the kitchen." Lisa went to him and said to him, "What dishes do you want me to help you with?" Elisha came and asked Lisa, "What about the modesty I told you about yesterday?" Lisa said to Elisha, "You've been very noisy since yesterday." Elisha said to Lisa to be quiet and asked her, "How can you wear these revealing clothes?" Crow said, "I was surprised too, but Lisa told me that these clothes are common in her house too." Elisha said, "No, they aren't." Lisa said, "I think you're misunderstanding something." After that, Sina came to them and asked, "I smell fresh bread." Crow said to Sina, "Of course, I made an oven so I can prepare fresh bread for everyone every morning." He asked them all to wait in the dining room and asked them which they preferred, tea or coffee, which greatly surprised Ulia. Crow prepared a lot of food for them, which everyone praised as wonderful, but Ulisha asked, "Where is Crow now?" Lisa said that he had left to do some cleaning, carrying a cloth, and said that someone had scribbled on parts of the palace and that he would return after cleaning it up. After that, Alicia went to Crow quickly to prevent him from erasing the protective spells. When she reached him, he was cleaning the spell that was on Lisa's room and told her that it was the last one, which made Ulia feel let down. Crow said to her, "There were a lot of them." He asked her, "Do you think something happened here?" Alicia, sitting on the ground, said to him, "I think it was the work of Screeny, the plotter that people have been talking about recently," which amazed Crow when he heard the name. She told him, "I think he saw Lisa and left all these lines to get her attention." Crow said to her, "I understand now. We should tell Lisa." Alicia said to herself, "I succeeded in not revealing that there are killers seeking to kill Lisa, but I don't have many spells left, and it will take Mimiko a few days to get here. Will I be able to protect her?"